James Gunn reminds me of a couple of fictional characters I grew up watching. Derek Trotter from the sitcom Only Fools and Horses, and Arthur Dailey from the TV drama Minder. He is the biggest of used car salesmen. And on today's DCU Daily, I'm going to definitively prove that once and for all. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I am Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends, wives, and especially your boyfriends and your husbands. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCU Daily. You can follow me on X, Twitter, at Movies TV Mad, and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. I'm actually starting to post more and more on Threads. So Instagram and Threads at Movies TV Mad X. Snapchat, BMouth60, and TikTok, where I'm really enjoying expressing myself. You know how self-expressive I am. I find that mentally healthy. It's not about clicks. It's not about views. It's not about being viral. I'm never gonna be viral. But yeah, check me out on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World, where I have a very, very good time. If you don't enjoy making content, if you don't enjoy doing something, don't do it. Forget about the clicks and the likes. Do it because you get a buzz out of doing it. I love being an amateur actor, writer, director, making and performing and, constructing my plays with my Amateur Dramatic Society at my theatre here in Iron Apple Cyprus. That's not about money. That's not about business. I love fucking expressing myself, and I love being around people who also love expressing themselves. I have a dream, everyone, of an entertainment company called Movies TV Mad. No CGI, no artificial intelligence, no assholes who say stuff that embarrass my companies, but just a place that makes magic happen. Like Hollywood used to do when I was a kid. I used to be in awe of Hollywood. I can't fucking stand them now. But anyway, that is my dream. I'm working on 3 projects. The movie, Saving Judy Garland. Its sequel, Saving Norma Jean. And another movie, nothing to do with the other 2, which is Human Nature. And a sitcom, which is a send-up of the OnlyFans industry, Only Fran. Having a lot of fun writing that one as well. So welcome. Yes, today I'm going to give you definitive proof that James Gunn is nothing but a used car salesman. This is not a new revelation for me. I've known this for the longest of times. James Gunn shares a DCU update. Right now, there's actually 2 really cool film scripts that I'm hoping to take to the next level, that we have general plans for. What does general plans for mean? You've either got plans for it, it's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. What does general mean? That it may happen, it may not happen. Why bother telling us then? And I'm excited about both of those. And I'm excited about one TV project in particular. I don't know why we're not greenlit on that already. You're excited about a TV project that you haven't even fucking greenlit yet. Again, why are you talking about it? It's just figuring out the budget, so there's a couple of things that are very present that I'm excited about, and dealing with getting Supergirl into shape. Wait. Hold fucking everything. Why are you, someone who didn't write Supergirl, who didn't direct Superman, getting Supergirl into shape? Shouldn't that be the director's job? Shouldn't he be working with his editor? I thought you said you were going to give writers and directors freedom. So as I knew, this is the MCU formula. He, as co-CEO, is going to sit there telling them what to do. He's obviously adjusted the scripts that wasn't written by him. He's obviously been given the director's notes. Basically, they're directing the directors. So what's the fucking difference, right? So we could be getting a disaster with Supergirl. When he talks about getting Supergirl into shape, what he really means is it's a fucking mess. We'll see that film next year, so I'll hold off being judgy and judgmental until I actually see it. But here, what I've read out, his latest statement Because at the moment, he's doing more talking about doing things than actually doing things. This is James Gunn all over. This is what a used car salesman does. He tries to get you excited. He's selling you, an old banger, a motor that doesn't work, that will barely get you off the car lot. So he's got to convince you that it's pink, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. Maybe it won't go 100 miles per hour, but who needs the speed, right? Maybe it'll break down, but who needs their car to move? Maybe the tyres are flat, maybe it's got no petrol. You'll have to fill it up yourself, mate. Basically, he's teasing projects that may never happen, and this is typical of the man. Why is he doing all this talking? More talking than actually doing. Because they're at a kind of halt. They put the brakes on. Because of Superman failing. Because Warner Brothers Discovery is either negotiating another merger. I think if they merge, they're going to merge with Netflix. It would be the biggest thing ever. As I said before, this is not like 20th Century Fox. Warner Brothers Discovery is 20 billion times bigger than 20th Century Fox. So this could take years, this deal. So don't expect things to happen just like that. So they're either negotiating a merger with Netflix or they're going to sell it. It looks like Paramount is out of the running. I at first I was excited about the new Paramount leadership, and now looking at it, I don't like them so much, and they do concern me. They are getting a lot of good talent at that studio, but it looks like they're out of the running to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, which probably is a really, really good thing. But anyway, James Gunn is really nervous. He's really scared. This is the problem with putting someone like that in charge of something like this. You need someone that's going to give you diverse projects. Every project needs to feel different. Let's look at the Snyderverse for context and example. Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and the Snyder Cut are three very different DC comic book movies. There's a central theme. They're kind of spinning off one after the other, right? But they're very, very different movies. 300 is dramatically different to Watchmen. And his zombie movie is the most different thing he ever made. So Rebel Moon is different to all the other projects. So Snyder has a variety of projects. Gunn doesn't. Gunn only knows how to make one type of movie. And that's the problem with putting someone like that in charge. As I've said a billion times, he can only be James Gunn. He can't be anyone else, but he doesn't have any range to his creativity. So you can't have someone in charge who's just going to make the same version of a different movie every time. He told us we'd be really surprised when he announced the kind of sequel. He's saying it's not a sequel, but is a sequel of Superman. He said we'd be surprised with what he was going to do. I wasn't surprised. It's just another version of Guardians of the Galaxy. I can imagine by the end of the movie he's going to have Superman, the Justice Gang, and whoever else, walking in a row like he had the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, I have a feeling. Do you know what I mean? The guy has no range. So as I said, loads of times, he should have his own corner at DC. But he shouldn't be running the thing. You need someone who understands story, who understands film, who understands that each film should have a vision. You can't just make things because you need to make things. It should never feel that way. And that's how entertainment feels today. Well, it's content. We need to put content out there. They publicly say that. People running streaming services say, we just need content. Well, that's the problem with modern entertainment. That's the problem, the particular problem with the DCU and the MCU. They're just going through the motions. They're just putting stuff out there because they need to put stuff out there. Superman 78 was a dream, a vision of Elias Salkind. The these Hungarian producers, the father didn't know nothing about Superman, but his son, Ilya, loved Superman and wanted to make a Superman film. And that's how that film happened. Dick Donner loved Superman and really wanted to keep him clean and really be faithful to the hardcore material. And that's why we got a clean Superman that inspired the world. Dick Donner had a vision. Dick Donner wasn't attempting to make content. He was trying to make a great movie. Tom Mankiewicz, who rewrote Superman 78, wasn't going through the motions. He knew what had to be done. And that's what creativity used to be. It's having a vision. It's having an idea. I'm a storyteller. I come up with stories every 5 minutes. Some of them bad, some of them good. You let the bad ones go and you go with the good ones, right? You've got to be self-critical. I get excited by having ideas about stories. I've got a dope idea to bring back Friends. I've got a dope idea to bring back 24. Every time I rewatch something, I've got a new idea. That's me. I'm not about making content. I want to tell fucking stories. And unfortunately, they don't want to tell stories anymore. They just want to make content. That's what Superman 2025 is. It's content. That's what Creature Commandos is. Content. That's what Peacemaker 2 is. Content. There's not a vision there. There's not a plan. Gunn says he has a plan. He's teasing at the end of Peacemaker. We're going to see his full idea for the DCU. His plan. His story. I'm intrigued to hear from you lot who are actually going to be able to watch the finale of Peacemaker to let me know what they're actually going to do. Maybe it'll be exciting, maybe it'll be shit. We'll have to wait and see. I judge things as they happen. But at the end of the day, this is what happens. This is what we lost. I will never forget what this modern day industry have done to a once magical industry. It used to be magic to watch television and animation and movies because there was an imagination to it. There was a thought process to it. The only thought process now is making money and content. They make content, but they don't make much money because the audience can see that their heart isn't into it. Now, the other week we had Disney Plus getting cancelled and unsubscribed because of the whole, Charlie Kirk thing. And now everyone's, unsubbing from Netflix over, I don't want to go into it, right? I don't want to get into that subject matter, but yeah. I don't care why people unsubscribe from streaming. Streaming murdered broadcast TV, physical media and cinema. I call this karma and I'm very happy about it. I want entertainment to go back to the natural order of things because streaming, artificial intelligence, CGI are not the way forward. Having a story, pitching it and going forward with it is the way forward. Having pilots before you launch a series of a TV show is a great idea. Having an actual fucking showrunner on your series is a fucking good idea, which they stopped doing. And the MCU on Disney Plus stopped having showrunners. They've started having showrunners again, but it hasn't really made much difference because the only showrunner at the MCU is Kevin Feige. That's who's always been running the show. He seemed to do it more precisely and in a better way back in the peak of the MCU. He's either lost his mojo or whoever was helping him do it, the real person who should be credited, is either behind the scenes or isn't at the company anymore. James Gunn isn't going to give us a great DCU. He doesn't have the creative genes, the creative backbone, the imagination in his head. And you can tell. Superman is Guardians of the Galaxy, co-starring Superman. Man of Tomorrow will be Guardians of the Galaxy, co-starring Superman again. The evidence is there that he doesn't know how to tell varied stories. This is not me just making stuff up just to have a go at James Gunn. It's facts. So he can keep on teasing. He can keep on trying to sell a car that's a write-off, that's an old banger, that needs everything under the bonnet replacing, But people are starting to see through James Gunn because he's a fucking used car salesman.